No, pues lo que llevan avanzado ya le acaban de perder ahí con la llovida esta.
Intense rains that lashed the border between Nogales, Sonora, and Arizona left at least 2 people missing, prompted emergency rescues, and forced the deployment of a binational search operation. Since the morning of Friday, July 17th, emergency services from Mexico and the United States have been searching for 2 people who were reportedly swept away by the current during the storm on Thursday. The work is concentrated in Rio Rico and the Santa Cruz River in Arizona, where the streams that cross from Nogales, Sonora flow into. The operation involves U.S. authorities with support from 3 units of the Nogales Fire Department, made up of 16 members, as well as personnel from Sonora Civil Protection. Preliminary reports indicate the discovery of a woman's body in U.S. territory. Authorities are continuing their search for a second victim and have not yet confirmed her identity. It is possible that both people were swept from Mexican territory by the force of the streams that crossed the border. The rains also caused hazardous situations in the city of Nogales. A 19-year-old man was rescued alive by municipal transit agents after the current knocked him down while he was trying to cross a flooded area on a motorcycle. The motorcyclist managed to grab onto a metal structure while being swept away by the water. Municipal police entered the danger zone and brought him to safety. Authorities warned that the weather conditions will continue throughout Friday. More rain is forecast for Nogales around 4 p.m. However, the behavior of the monsoon system could alter the forecast. Civil Protection asked the population to stay alert to the notices disseminated by the media and official social networks, in addition to following the instructions of the early warning system in case it is activated. The agency warned that rainfall could increase water levels on roads such as Cinco de Febrero, Tecnológico, Jesus Garcia, Orizaba, Cinco de Mayo, Reforma, Abraham Zaid, Del Pino, Nuevo Nogales, Jesus Barbosa, Buenos Aires, and Eros, as well as the extension of Obregón Avenue and the Nogales 2000, El Greco, Del Ensueño, and Kennedy Boulevards. Authorities recommended not crossing streams or flooded streets, either on foot or by vehicle, because currents can rise suddenly and sweep away even heavy or four-wheel drive vehicles. They also urged people to use alternate routes and report any emergency situation to 911, especially when a vehicle gets stuck in a stream of water. Civil Protection reminded everyone that thunderstorms pose an additional risk, so they asked people to avoid taking shelter under trees or remaining in contact with metal objects during electrical activity. Flash flooding in Nogales is believed to have turned deadly as monsoon storms swept through southern Arizona. News 4. Tucson obtained an email from Nogales Fire Chief Ken LaRiva, stating, 2 bodies were reported floating face down in the Nogales Wash. Nogales Councilman Saulo Bonilla said this type of deadly incident tends to happen during monsoon. I'd say maybe once or twice a year, every monsoon, Bonilla told News 4 Tucson. Bonilla said authorities in Nogales, Arizona were asked to help recover the bodies. In the Thursday evening email, Chief LaRiva said it hasn't been confirmed where the individuals entered the wash. Bonilla said the waters roaring through Nogales, Arizona Thursday evening are from the Mexican side of the border. He said the water level through the Nogales Wash was twice as high earlier in the day. Evidence of past storms is visible along the wash, whether that's shifted concrete panels or erosion far from current water levels. Bonilla explained there's also an unseen risk from flooding like this in Nogales to the international sewer line running underneath the wash, known as the International Outfall Interceptor. So when we have this type of flooding, it puts in danger that it could burst. It has burst in the past, Bonilla said. Bonilla stressed that Nogales is prepared for monsoon storms with sandbags, barricades, and portable lights in flood-prone areas like downtown. He urged people not to cross flooded washes no matter where they are. Just wait 10, 15, 20 minutes or an hour, whatever it takes. You don't want to lose a life, Bonilla said. Nothing so important that you can't wait a few minutes. Fire Chief Lariva said in his email Thursday evening that there was a possible recovery effort going on 15 miles north of Nogales at the Palo Parado Road exit. News 4, Tucson reached out to Lariva via email for an update on the bodies Thursday night, but has yet to hear back. Meanwhile, in Pinal County, the eastern suburb of Apache Junction bore the brunt of the storm's absolute intensity, a localized meteorological phenomenon known as a training thunderstorm, where multiple heavy storm cells continuously pass over the exact same geographic area, dumped an astonishing amount of moisture in less than 3 hours. Official rain gauges managed by the Flood Control District of Maricopa County and Pinal County recorded a staggering 3 to 4 inches of rain per hour during the peak of the storm. For a desert landscape with hard, non-porous soil, this volume of water is mathematically impossible to absorb, leading to instantaneous surface runoff. The National Weather Service, NWS, in Phoenix kept a flash flood warning active for most of Maricopa County throughout Friday morning and afternoon. The heavy downpours struck precisely during the peak Friday morning rush hour, transforming major commuter freeways and surface streets into hazardous hazard zones. On major thoroughfares like the Loop 101, Agua Fria Freeway, and Loop 202, Red Mountain Freeway, visibility dropped to near zero during the height of the storm. Sheet flooding across the freeway lanes caused cars to hydroplane, leading to dozens of minor multi-vehicle collisions that brought traffic to a complete standstill for hours. Drivers reported that normally dry retention basins alongside the freeways filled up and began spilling directly back onto the asphalt lanes. In the northern and eastern portions of the valley, local police departments were forced to execute emergency blockades on dozens of roads due to dangerous water depths. The most notable closures included the northbound lanes were blocked at the intersection of Bent Tree Drive, while the southbound lanes were barricaded at Mark Lane due to deep, fast-moving water crossing the asphalt. Dynamite Boulevard, shut down entirely west of 73rd Street in North Scottsdale. Desert washes intersecting the roadway overflowed, carrying large boulders and desert debris across the lanes, making it impossible for standard passenger vehicles to pass safely. Located in the far northern community of Anthem, this vital roadway was shut down entirely from 15th Avenue to 19th Avenue. Water depths in this area were reported to be over 2 feet deep, threatening to sweep light vehicles off the road. The Maricopa County Department of Transportation, MCDOT, issued an urgent plea to all drivers to avoid unneeded travel in these areas and to completely respect the physical barricades erected by emergency crews. A sudden and intense monsoonal storm system slammed west-central New Mexico on Thursday evening, July 16, 2026, dropping heavy, rapid rainfall that triggered severe flash flooding across the city of Gallup and adjacent rural communities. The storm dumped over an inch of water in less than an hour on the west side of the city, completely overwhelming local drainage systems and forcing emergency responders into a state of high alert. The Gallup Police Department and county first responders spent the night addressing submerged roadways, trapped vehicles, and rising water channels. By Friday morning, several crucial transportation arteries remained heavily compromised or entirely closed to traffic, leaving local authorities to plead with citizens to avoid unnecessary travel. According to radar data and field updates from the National Weather Service, NWS Albuquerque, initial thunderstorms began popping up along the higher terrain of McKinley County late Thursday afternoon. By 6:33 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, an official flash flood warning was issued as heavy downpours targeted saturated low-lying basins. The sheer velocity of the water led to immediate infrastructural distress. Fast-moving water from Oak Wash quickly burst through its banks, sending torrents across major rural and residential paths. Ominous reports poured in from the public as water began heavily overflowing onto Old Gallup Road, Lakeside Drive, and Sandy Springs Road. As water levels crested, conditions deteriorated from a localized flash flood into a broader, sustained regional inundation. The initial flash flood warning was subsequently upgraded to a comprehensive flood warning for southwestern McKinley County, highlighting the prolonged nature of the standing water. Law enforcement officials immediately cordoned off heavily flooded intersections, warning that low water crossings were entirely submerged and presented fatal risks to ordinary passenger vehicles. Beyond the immediate volume of water, municipal authorities are facing a massive logistical cleanup operation. The rushing floodwaters uprooted desert vegetation, carried loose residential trash, and dislodged heavy rocks from hilly terrains. This massive influx of debris quickly accumulated against culverts, blocking storm drains and scattering across major asphalt roads. By Friday morning, city public works crews deployed sweeping operations to clear the streets. However, the process remains slow as certain drainage channels continue to hold back pooling water. Business owners and homeowners in the hardest-hit western districts spent the early morning hours checking for property damage and utilizing sandbags to fend off residual muddy flows. Residents living near Old Gallup Road, in particular, have been actively requesting additional sandbag supplies from county dispatchers to protect vulnerable entryways. A primary focus of emergency broadcast alerts has been the region's network of arroyos, the normally dry creek beds that carve through New Mexico's landscape. Local fire personnel and police took to social media to broadcast stark warnings regarding these natural channels. During intensive monsoonal bursts, arroyos act as high-speed funnels. Even if it is not actively raining directly over Gallup, a storm miles away in the mountains can send a wall of water roaring down an arroyo in mere minutes. Authorities emphasized that water in these channels can easily reach speeds of up to 30 miles per hour, possessing more than enough force to sweep away fully grown adults, heavy livestock, and commercial vehicles. The immediate crisis is far from over for west central New Mexico. While the initial storm cells that caused Thursday night's damage have drifted and weakened, the broader atmospheric setup remains highly volatile. The regional North American monsoon has intensified significantly, drawing a deep plume of tropical moisture straight into the state. The NWS Albuquerque has maintained a flash flood watch for McKinley County and surrounding areas due to saturated soil from Thursday's heavy rainfall. With ground capacity for water absorption already exceeded, any additional rain is expected to immediately generate dangerous runoff. Forecasts indicate that slow-moving storm cells could bring an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain over the weekend, specifically threatening the Gallup and Zuni Pueblo areas. Residents are advised to stay updated on weather alerts and prepare for potential evacuations.
The water crusted early this morning with trees and logs and rocks coming down.